The following is a paid program brought to you by the Salvation Army.
Welcome to the Salvation Army of North Texas' third annual Christmas Spectacular, a celebration of the season and of those in North Texas who are helping spread love beyond Christmas. Now, here's our host, Cowboys legend Darren Woodson.
Hello, North Texas, and welcome back to the Star, headquarters of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to once again join the Salvation Army of North Texas to celebrate the season of giving. Tonight, we'll take a look back at some of our favorite moments this year and learn how your support helps the Salvation Army overcome significant challenges in our communities. The Salvation Army is one of my favorite parts of the holiday. I feel so blessed to be a part of a winning team that helps so many in our area. Major Don and Paul McFarland and Managing Director Jay Dunn help lead our team as they ensure we do the most good for North Texans in need. They will share more about our bold vision that continues to inspire our efforts this holiday season and beyond.
For more than 130 years, the Salvation Army has led the charge for positive change here in North Texas. Our mission is to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ and to meet human needs in His name without discrimination. Motivated by this mission and the love of God, we are tackling complex issues across 4,000 square miles of ongoing need.
That mission and our scope as the region's largest social services provider means we are uniquely positioned to do the most good for the most people, to alleviate poverty, fight addiction, and reverse homelessness in North Texas.
Here in Dallas County alone, nearly 370,000 residents live in poverty, and over 4,000 residents are homeless on a single night.
Thousands of North Texans face extreme challenges from every angle. High costs of living expenses following years of limited resources, impossible decisions like whether to put food on the table or keep the electricity running, or the fear of not having a safe place to seek refuge.
These are the faces of our neighbors in need, the stories that often go unheard, unseen, and unnoticed, and they demand attention.
Today, the Salvation Army of North Texas is coming together like never before, meeting the needs of people experiencing poverty, addiction, and homelessness so that fewer hard decisions are made and more cycles of crisis are broken. Across 6 counties, we are revolutionizing the way our communities are served through a delivery model that has allowed us to double the number of people we engage each week. We are reestablishing our goals for processes, partnerships, programs, and places so that we can do more than just change individual lives. We're reimagining our services to ensure their relevance in each diverse community we serve to create a brighter future for all of North Texas, and we're just getting started. With your help, we will significantly expand our programs, addressing the root causes of need, fighting for good across Dallas and Rockwall, Tarrant and Ellis, and Denton and Collin counties. Nothing like this has ever been done in North Texas before, but through the Salvation Army, together we can create God-empowered transformations of individuals and society.
The impact of these changes will not only change the lives of our local neighborhoods, but also make our broader region stronger, more sufficient, and more resilient. Our transformative plan invites you to be a part of a renewed vision for North Texas.
We are one army on many fronts, striving daily to do the most good. Join us for you, for them, and for our region.
Every child deserves to experience the joy of Christmas morning. Meet Captain Maxie and prepare to be inspired by someone who not only experienced the joy of Angel Tree as a child, but dedicated her life to giving back and doing the most good.
I was 14 years old, starting my freshman year of high school, and I realized that August that my sister had a brain tumor, and she and my mom were leaving to go to Fort Worth to the Children's Hospital there. And it didn't dawn on me how severe it was, but I knew something was not right. I sensed that it would be her last Christmas with us. Our family's goal was to make sure that she was taken care of, so Christmas gifts and things like that wouldn't have been the top priority at the time, and it wasn't the top priority, but thanks to the Salvation Army and the generosity of a community, they made Christmas very special for us, especially as my parents are trying to figure out what they need to do to take care of my sister during this time. And here comes love on 4 wheels in the form of a white truck with a red shield on it. She was really excited. I remember there being a Disney princess gift that she got to open. She was looking around, wanted everybody to show their gifts, and she wanted to see everybody's gifts as she was sharing and showing her gifts. My mom and dad had gifts, all my siblings, so there were gifts for all 8 of us. It was really neat. And I remember getting a tape recorder that year. I felt like the least during that time, and I get to pour into other people and let them know they have not been forgotten, and there is a whole community that loves and supports them. I remember growing up asking kids what they got for Christmas, and they didn't get anything because parents had to make a choice: a roof over their head or gifts under the tree. What the Angel Tree program does is it provides parents with gifts that they can wrap for their children, and so what the community allows the parents to do is to be able to bless their children on Christmas Day. When I think of the Salvation Army, I look at them as heroes. I look at them as the people who came and brought compassion and love to our door, and who put a smile on my sister's face, even in the midst of her pain. My goal is to be there for as many people as I can during this season, because it does bring joy. It doesn't matter where they come from. Just get to speak to them, share and extend the love that I've received as well. Even in the midst of pain, there is always hope. And if I can be a part of that, I'm grateful.
Merry Christmas, North Texas.
Hey North Texas, this is Tarrant County Judge Glenn Whitley, and I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays, North Texas. This is Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins wishing you a very Merry Christmas.
Welcome back to the Christmas Spectacular. I'm Christina Cavalier, Senior Director of Community Relations for the Salvation Army of North Texas. Right now, there are thousands of individuals across North Texas who are lost and in need of direction. For them, the Salvation Army is an open door to hope. Stories like Tammy's prove to us why this work is so important.
So I had struggled with addiction for many, many years. My drug addiction escalated very quickly. There was always this haunting voice in my head that always said that whatever I touched, whatever I did just wasn't good enough. And for a long time, the only way I could not hear that or not feel that was to stay high, stay intoxicated. It takes everything from you, your morals, your values, your dignity, your respect, and just leaves you with nothing. There was a bridge that ran beside I-20 next to a hotel that I was in. I couldn't deal with the guilt and the shame of the hurt that I caused everybody else, including myself. I stood up on the ledge and I just looked out over the oncoming traffic, and I jumped. I remember waking up in the hospital a couple days later, and I was angry. I was angry. I now have 2 rods and 6 plates and 37 screws in one leg, and 2 plates and 17 screws in the other leg, and I lost 80% vision out of my left eye. The judge this time, she was like, I can't, we've already given you a chance, and I'm revoking your probation, and she sentenced me to 6 years in prison. Things begin to change a little bit that time. I believe that you're going to keep going around that mountain until you get it right. So Salvation Army was the closest facility near the county that I caught my charges out of. So this is where they sent me. The room 106 is where I had stayed in the women's shelter, and that is where my college journey actually began. And it was so overwhelming. Living in a shelter is not easy when you're away from your family or support system or everything that you've ever known. It's not an easy task. The staff, everyone here become my family. They looked out for me, they spoke life into me, they reached out to me, they were there to pat you on the back and say you're doing a good job. I had gotten to a point in my life where I hated the person looking back at me in a mirror, to the point where I didn't even try to look in a mirror. But eventually that came to pass, to the point where I could proudly look at myself today and know that I am enough. I am a good enough case manager. I am a good enough wife. I am a good enough daughter, a good enough friend, a student. I graduated with a master's degree with a 4.0 GPA. I'm good enough. So to walk back into that room several years later, no longer a client, but as a professional, I think that was one of the most impactful days of coming back to the Salvation Army as a professional. I walked back into that room and I looked at the very bed that I prayed so many prayers, and sought refuge in just knowing that God was there. And I got to be so thankful, because some of the very prayers that I prayed is the very life that I have right now. I never thought that I'd be getting to work with people who is me so many years ago. I love my clients. I love my job. There's not enough words, there's not enough thank yous that I could possibly give that will express the gratitude that I have. There's people out there just like me that need the support and the tools and the love and the encouragement that the Salvation Army provided me. And for that, I am forever grateful.
We're the Jonas Brothers, and we're teaming up with the Salvation Army to love beyond the holidays.
When you drop $1 in a red kettle or donate to the Salvation Army online, your money stays local to help families in your neighborhood during the holidays and long after.
So you can put a present under someone's tree today.
And a roof over someone's head tomorrow.
Brighten up the holiday.
And help hardworking families all year long.
The Salvation Army doesn't stop at the holidays. The money raised this season will help over 25 million people nationwide every day of the year.
We're proud to help the Salvation Army.
Love beyond the holidays.
The Salvation Army of North Texas would not have the ability to serve nearly 100,000 people each year without the dedication of so many volunteers. They are the army behind the army, always providing and fighting for good. Our bell ringers, for example, know that a smile and a warm greeting encourages those passing by to give more generously to the Red Kettles that fund programs that change lives all year long. Meet Lee, who has been volunteering for decades as a bell ringer, making a difference in her community with every ring.
I was an only child. My father was so impressed when people were coming back from the war, and he was visiting them coming off the boats and off the trains. And I get emotional, but he always said the Salvos always were there with hot tea and bickies. When I got old enough to get pocket money, Daddy always made me put a little bit aside. And then when Christmas came, we took my little brown paper bag of coins and we would put it in the kettle. So he was a great believer and always talked about the Salvation Army and supporting them at Christmas time. I look around and I see what I have. And then I see young families who are struggling. And I say to myself, but for the grace of God go I. And so I seem to be able to help out in ways where I can gather people and rally people to do things. And so that's what I've been doing. I'll be standing in line at Walmart to get checked out, and there'll be someone there, and I'll have my apron on or something, and they'll say, "Oh, the Salvation Army, do you work for them?" I say, "I'm just a volunteer." "You really should come out and ring bells during the day." And I get phone calls. I got a phone call even yesterday from a lady. "I understand you're the Red Kettle lady. I would really like to take my daughter out and ring." And I register online myself and get her scheduled into what store she wants and what time she wants. And then I have my runners and my callers and that. I have all that every day here as to who's doing what in my little book. And so I think by living by example and having that fire about it and being excited about it, you'll be hooked. You just need to do it once and you'll find it's just so much fun. I think my dad would be proud, and I think he would also have expected me to do this. And he would be shaking the bushes trying to get volunteers out, and then he'd be out ringing bells too. Yeah. When I think of the Salvation Army, I think of service and helping people and doing the most good.
This Christmas, the most important thing we can do is keep hope alive at a time when North Texans are facing greater hardships than ever before. Many are living in survival mode, trying to pay for rising rent, increased food costs, access to childcare, and high transportation costs so that they can avoid evictions. They are having to make tough choices on how to stretch their already tight household budgets. While many families are able to overcome these challenges, we're seeing record numbers who aren't, including dual-income families. Recognizing these historic increases, we've expanded our capacities for families at all 4 of our shelters throughout North Texas, providing opportunities for families to recover.
My family and I, we were homeless for about 4 months, and we didn't have anywhere to stay. We were sleeping in our van, and we would take the stuff out the back of the truck, and the big boys would lay in the back of the truck and sleep. I would sleep on a tree sometimes with my baby. My legs were swollen. I ended up in the hospital. And all this, I'm pregnant, 15 weeks pregnant. And my husband, he worked. And when the pandemic happened, that was it for him for about a year. And then we started getting late on the bills. We lost the truck, and eventually we lost the house. We ended up at Salvation Army. And I was shocked when I got inside because the people were nice, and we didn't have to sleep crammed in the truck anymore. We had our own little bunks. It was a shelter. We had a place to sleep, finally, not in the truck or in the park. We had a place to eat, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and chefs cooks for us. When I think of the Salvation Army, I think of shelter. We were approved for emergency housing. A caseworker picked it up from Tarrant County Housing. They contacted the directors at Salvation Army to tell me that my voucher was ready. And Salvation Army, huge van, which was big enough for all of us, loaded up all the kids and myself and took me to go pick my voucher up. The landlord, she said, "I have a brand new house available, 5 bedrooms." I'm like, okay, oh my God. And I prayed for this. I knew that this too shall pass. I knew it, and I believed it, and it did. My kids, my babies, they helped me so much. And I wanted to give up so bad, but I couldn't, because I look back at them and I see them in their face and their smiles, and they were just so happy to be free, to be outside. I couldn't give up. I had to keep pushing for my babies. I'm teaching them to, whatever they choose to do in their profession in the future, make sure it's to help other people. Because others helped us.
The The Salvation Army of North Texas works to combat generational poverty through the expansion of our out-of-school time programming. Across 6 community centers throughout the region, we provide tutoring and help with homework, STEAM-centered curriculum, opportunities for physical activity, and more. These community centers are strategically located in under-resourced neighborhoods where kids may not otherwise have access to the kind of Christ-centered, compassionate care that we provide.
For 156 years, the Salvation Army has loved all those who have felt lost. For many, living a life of hopelessness is often a stark reality. Too often, it's difficult to see a light at the end of the tunnel when life spirals out of control. Meet Nick, who now welcomes a bright future of promise thanks to the work of the Salvation Army.
My dad went to prison when I was 2 years old. I was good in school all the way up until about 9 or 10. By 14 and 15, I was already gangbanging. My mom had kicked me out. My stepdad passed away. We found him in the room at 29 years old, heart attack. At 17, my second year, a junior in high school, I caught my first aggravated robbery. And the first offer was 5 years. You know, if I'm good, I still got a chance to make it home early. But I joined a prison gang, and I ended up doing my whole 5-year sentence because of that gang. That second prison sentence, my family didn't care anymore. I sat in a cell one time, beat up, crying, and it was like, I can't do this anymore. And it got to a point where I didn't want to be here. I figured I balanced it out, the good with the evil, like grow up or die. So I came home from prison, and I really tried. I got turned down jobs left and right. 2 aggravated robberies, assault causing serious bodily injury, and assault with a deadly weapon, and tattoos everywhere, gold teeth. People don't really want to give you a chance. My lawyer that they gave me said, well, have you ever thought about getting help? When I got to rehab, my first mind was just run. And there was a counselor there, and he used to, man, I've been in the Salvation Army, that's what changed my life. I used to be just like y'all. I went to the Salvation Army and changed my life. And that's when he told me about Miss Finney. She coached me through so much, just showing me that I can make it. But to have somebody who doesn't have to care, but does, like that meant a lot to me. Like it showed me that, like, man, maybe I am worth it. The Salvation Army helped me so much. I got a car, I got a savings account, I got the same phone number, I got an apartment, furnished, 2 jobs, and when you earn it like that, it feels so much better. I got invited to Thanksgiving, that was awesome. I haven't sat down and ate with my grandma and my family in almost 15 years. See my family pull up in my car, you know, and let them see how good I was doing, and you know, that was really cool. You know, somebody who's been in prison their whole life, where do you start? I didn't know nothing but the streets. I didn't know nothing but drugs. I didn't know nothing but, you know, robbing, selling drugs. But through the Salvation Army, it was like, okay, here, take this step. I signed my first lease without anybody. My name is on this lease. My name is on my phone bill. My name is on that car. Like, it makes you feel more like a normal human being. And I wouldn't have none of that if it wasn't for the Salvation Army.
Meet 2 remarkable women on parallel paths, Cameron and Vanessa, who both overcame incredible odds. The Salvation Army offered them the personalized care they needed to change their life and their outlook.
The Salvation Army to me is really a blessing, because we would have been either living in the car or living in a hotel trying to make it.
we see a kingdom.
I was going through a domestic violence case, very, as you can say, toxic, dysfunctional. And I didn't like that, so I stood up for myself. Salvation Army has really been like a lifesaver. We get our own room, the kids have their own beds, furniture for your house, clothes, shoes, food, counseling for domestic violence or just anything that you need help with. And it's been uphill from there.
When I started using drugs, and then that's when my legal activity kind of happened. And so then the abuse set in. That's when my whole world just turned upside down. I think I was kind of half here when I got here because I was really broken. And my mom told me, Cameron, don't worry about what's going on out here in the world. Just think about what you're gaining by being at the Salvation Army so you don't ever have to go through this again. You know, it's just changed my life. It has.
It's really making me think that I can still be that girl boss and get things done, be a better mother for my kids, have a better life.
That's what's so cool. I tell my neighbors, every person I see, I don't just say, well, you need to go to church. I said, well, go to the Salvation Army.
Don't be afraid to ask for help and to start over. Don't be ashamed of what you've been through. I've been down and out so many times, and each time I could say I've been in a better place in every situation.
It's a safe place. It's a safe place. And I miss it. I kind of miss it. Salvation Army has saved my life. And I spend every day giving back and telling other people that are lost as I was. And I will never, ever, ever forget it.
For thousands across North Texas, this past year has been nothing short of challenging. Those already struggling to make ends meet were hit with devastating economic conditions, such as rising rent, increased food costs, and access to child care, and so much more. With your support and compassion, our officers, staff, volunteers, and partners continue to work tirelessly to provide for our most vulnerable neighbors.
This Christmas, join us in showing that love exists beyond the most difficult situations. In the new year, we will continue to respond to the ever-changing needs of North Texans. Need knows no season, and neither does the work of the Salvation Army.
Visit SalvationArmyNorthTexas.org to learn about ways that you can love beyond Christmas. Drop $1 in the red kettle, fundraise, or donate online. Volunteer your time and share the message of the Salvation Army with your friends and family.
Every gift helps love reach those in need and gives local families the Christmas they deserve. Remember, when you give local, it stays local.
Thank you for allowing us to serve this wonderful community of ours. We wish you a very Merry Christmas from our family to yours.
We thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you found the stories you've seen inspiring and the calls for help motivating. It's the season of giving that reminds us love gives us everything and expects nothing. And with your support, the Salvation Army will love beyond Christmas.
Your love isn't confined to an Advent calendar. It doesn't stop when the Christmas lights come down. With the Salvation Army, your love lasts all year long. It puts a present under someone's tree today and a roof over someone's head tomorrow. It brightens Christmas morning and the hardest nights for hardworking families. Together, we love beyond bell ringing, we love beyond snowfall, we love beyond Christmas.
The preceding program was paid for by the Salvation Army.